Stay low. Hello fellow skaters and welcome to my Flowcast. Today I'm skating in Miami. Well, I'm not skating in Miami today. This is like 2-week-old footage, but I'm narrating from Toronto. 2 weeks? No, it's like month-old footage. I should have just said I'm in Miami still. Wow, that guy gets everywhere. He lives a life. No, I'm in Toronto right now. Toronto is the best city in the world. From May until November. And then the rest depends entirely on how good the ice is. So yes, I'm in Miami, and everything's beautiful here. The pavements are immaculate. My power stops, at my turns, my stride all feel really good on this pavement. I don't know if it's because this is where I improved the most as a younger skater, or if it's just a very good consistency specifically for inline skaters. I think it might be the latter. A theme emerged in my South Beach skating. I would say it was a night skate kind of theme. I skated a lot in the day as far as getting to places where I needed shots or just checking out neighborhoods. But as far as my actual skating, my best skates were definitely at night. I often ask for Flowcast questions from my viewers, so if you want to ask a few questions, please do down below. This time I turn to Chat GPT. I wanted some weird questions. I quite often get some gear-specific questions from the viewers, so hope you don't mind if I cheated on you with Chat GPT. They came up with some pretty good ones. Inline skating has evolved significantly over the years. How have you seen the sport change, and what do you think the future holds for inline skating? So I think the future is quite bright because inline skating has become this thing that busted out of the parks and it's in the streets and the recreational areas. It's a sport that the public can now identify with because they see it in real life. Before it was kind of closeted, like in the skate park among the other urban athletes. So I almost feel like the sport's been let loose, both geographically and physically. And the melding of the sports as far as the wizard skaters and the slalom skaters or the aggressive skaters. Yeah, there's a lot of hybrid skaters out there. Yes, it makes me think a little less highly of myself, which is good, and that's the only way for me to develop, is for my ego to take a hit and for me to feel inferior. And it's such a super hyped scene now, and I'm always surprised with things I see on the gram. So skating in Miami felt familiar right away. My skates were attached to me when I lived here. For 6 months I skated at least 4 hours a day, sometimes like 7 or 8. It was ridiculous. So much about these streets is exactly the same. It almost felt like my feet could lead the way and my brain was free to coast. Okay, I never really had those geometrics memorized. I was always careful on those glossy sections, as any slight bit of water could make me lose all control instantly. This is the rare occasion that a power stop is a risk in an emergency situation.
I thought it went through.
But the drag stop did the job nicely, along with a little arm hook. I don't trust shiny surfaces. I wasn't going to chance it. Oh yes, so we're at the Lincoln Drive part. Lincoln Drive is one of my favorite places to skate past midnight, which I did a lot of past midnight skates. But this night, I think I'm here around 10:30 or 11-ish. Things are just kind of closing up. I have to be careful to make sure I don't toast a waiter or a family from out of town. Things happen quickly here. A friend of mine in Miami, Edwin, big shout out to Edwin, he almost toasted a waiter. Gotta look out for those rookie waiters. The good waiters know that there's skaters in Miami and they look over their shoulders before they pivot. So you waiters out there, watch your back. But yes, I tend to overdo the caution here because I do not want chicken parmesan on my body. And yeah, I don't want to ruin some guy's shift. Another question from GPT. As a video maker, how do you approach capturing the essence of inline skating in your content, and what challenges do you face in visually representing the sport? Okay, this one's an easy one. The biggest challenge I face representing the sport is filming myself with full arm movement. So I have the Insta360 and I absolutely love it, but there is an element of me keeping the camera steady, so it is a little bit prohibitive of my movement. But this technology is just absolutely amazing that I can skate almost like me and capture everything I do, everything I see, with barely aiming the camera. I guess technology's further ahead of where I thought it would be at this point, with the invisible selfie stick, the editing afterwards, but I would love an outside perspective where I'm using my arms freely. And that's difficult for me because I'm a very stop and start skater, and I would need somebody to know my rhythms. I can skate normally for a while and then tear off like a crazy person, and then I might pick away on the curb at a tedious rate. So, yeah, getting somebody who wants to skate slow and then blast at my exact rhythm, it's really hard. I almost feel like I need like a little drone or something. A little dragonfly drone on a leash. An invisible leash. Come on, Insta, make it happen. But yeah, that and yes, I always feel like I'm underrepresenting the beauty of inline skating. And I think to me it's the most challenging of things to capture the motion and beauty and translating the feeling to other people, which probably means I'm not doing audio as well as I could be if I'm feeling that I haven't translated the feeling to skaters and non-skaters. But yes, anybody who films and edits stuff will tell you that there's no such thing as a perfect project. There's always something you can do to make something better. You can pour infinite hours into a project. You can make a 3-minute video and spend 100 hours and feel like you could spend 100 more. It's just the way it is. It's the only thing I've ever done, the only business I've ever done, where at the end of it I had to settle for a version that I knew could be better, but I couldn't allocate the resources to it. But yeah, I guess that's very long ways of saying that inline skating deserves better than what I'm able to offer. A feel-good question. Inline skating often involves a sense of community. How has being part of the inline skating community influenced your journey? And do you have any standout moments with fellow skaters? So I'm particularly lucky that I have access to people I know because I have all these dialogues that are attached to my content. But I do know before I was a content creator, I could show up at an event anywhere and I would make a couple friends. It's just the way the community is. If you're looking for friends, you're going to find friends. If you want to skate solo, you're going to skate solo. And do you have any standout moments with fellow skaters? The reception I got in London was just astounding. I met so many people who knew my content, and we talked about things that meant a lot to me. And it was almost heartbreaking. I almost got a lump in my throat, wishing I could talk to each of those people more individually. So I don't want to minimize London. I don't want to be false humble about it. It was a crazy experience. People were like boisterous and mobbing me a little bit for selfies afterwards. I felt like a bit of a skate celebrity. So yeah, that was a very special moment. And it has not been eclipsed, but I've had some really beautiful moments since, like in Brighton. And in Toronto. And Miami was really special too. The quality of my interactions here was fulfilling. In a world where inline skates are the preferred mode of transportation, describe your ideal city and infrastructure for seamless skating commutes. Well, Toronto's quite well set up for this. We have an underground path that's like 12 or 15 kilometers of mall. I would say in there you don't really need to change much except really be on top of signs where the water is and close off sections entirely when they're being polished, because I can take you out really quick. And above ground, I would say cycle lanes could remain cycle lanes and the roads would belong to inline skaters. The etiquette there would be do not skate within reach of another skater. So if you can reach out and touch somebody, you're too close. All workplaces will have a responsibility to tear up the carpet and provide a good skating surface as to not be prejudice against skates. What else? All workplaces will have skate tools. There will be a municipal toolbox for skates, and the only vehicles on the roads will be specifically for skitching, kind of like an express for skaters in the morning who want to go up a hill, like a chairlift. Yeah, that really helps with the commute to work if you live on a hill.
Could you pull me 3 blocks for $10?
Pull you?
I'm just a guy on skates.
I know, but you want me to pull you?
I know it might not be possible, but if anybody says anything, I'll say I just grabbed on. I'll just hold this in here. I do it on trucks and cars all the time.
I know, but I don't want to.
Oh, it has to be a solid thing?
No, I don't want it to break.
I can hold on to this too.
All right.
Awesome. I'll be on the other side.
Wait, so what street are you going to?
So I asked this guy who was offering rides to tourists if he'd pull me a few blocks for $10. He agreed, but warned me that we wouldn't be going very fast. But as we rolled on, with a little encouragement, he poured it on a bit. For a moment, I had my own private sketchmobile in Miami. I'm going to do that again next time I'm in Miami. Skate wherever I want and just hire a sketchmobile to bring me home. I like it. He did offer to pull me further, so I know a Tanner will get me a fair distance. A big shout out to my dad, who's having a hard time lately. He's fallen ill and he's not able to move around much. And that's hard for a guy like him. He's the one who taught me never to give up on myself despite age. He's always gone into activities and passions and project as if age didn't matter. And because he did that, it didn't matter. So he is my hero and my inspiration in a lot of the things that I do. And I do strive to be kind of a tougher guy when I skate, a resilient guy. And I still don't hold a candle compared to my father in that regard. And he's a sweetheart too, a very nice, constantly developing guy emotionally and physically. And he's everything I hope to be. And I'm really sorry you're having a hard time, Dad. I know it's hard for you not to be doing projects right now. So I at least hope that the Leafs pull through a few games for you. And give you a little entertainment while you're down. Big shout out, Dad. If you had to choose an animal sidekick for your inline skating adventures, what animal would it be, and how much would it enhance your skating experience? Of course, I would choose Ernie. If we're talking about wishes, I'd love for Ernie to be my little skate animal and tear through the city with me. He's a very good jumper. He leaps. He's got great stamina. But he'd be like me. He'd want to sprint for 4 blocks and then pant for a little bit and so on. In the real world, I don't bring Ernie out skating with any speed at all. I'm always careful because he might stop to poop or pee at any point. And he doesn't give me any warning at all. Yes, I'd love to share that with him. Tearing through the city would be just absolutely amazing. We could chase each other and he wouldn't be easy. But any animal besides Ernie, I would say a jaguar, because I would jump onto ledges and do things in narrow corridors that I would try to mimic. And movement of a jaguar appeals to me more than any other animal. Though I'd love to skate with a wolf or an elephant or a giraffe. I'm not a speciesist. If you were a rollerblading superhero with a unique sidekick, what would your sidekick be? And how would they assist you in crime-fighting rollerblading adventures? Well, I think my sidekick would be a bit of a whirling dervish. I'm kind of the straight-in guy, straight to the target. So they can cause mayhem with their fancy but deadly use of blades. Oh, that sounds very violent. A superhero has to be violent. He's facing some very bad characters. The no-nonsense brute and the fancy spinny skater would be kind of a nice combo. YouTube is known for its ever-evolving algorithms. How do you deal with the pressure to create content that aligns with the trends while staying true to your unique style as an inline skater? I would say it's changed in the last year. I was once pandering to the algorithm, trying to figure out where the audience wants me to go and where the views are. And now I've gotten to a point where the only thing that really fulfills me when I go back and look at my material is really good content. And by that I mean well-considered, unusual shots with great audio. It's harder than it sounds. Really good content is sometimes at odds with what people want to see, as far as what I consider really good content. So thankfully the accidental clips, maybe the more mediocre lines that I do, or the falls that I broadcast, give me good numbers, which affords me a little bit of extra time to work on things that I really like that don't get good numbers. But we're going to be seeing me doing more of the stuff that I really want to do, and I hope I get a little more weird too, and not really think about what people want to watch at all, and just express myself in the most authentic and radical way possible. That's the goal for all of us, actually. So yeah, fuck the algorithm.
Oh, I'm dead, but I'm gonna keep on going.
Okay, I asked them to ask me something controversial about sex, drugs, or swearing, and I couldn't get any answers, but I finally did get something about swearing, and here's the question. Swearing can be a cultural or regional phenomenon. How has your own use of language evolved, and have you noticed any shifts in the way that inline skating community approaches swearing over the years? So I guess I have noticed a shift for sure. I was very careful at first not to throw in too many F-bombs or too many, hardcore expletives. But I've relaxed on that, and I do swear at a rate where I would say my channel is no longer suitable for super young viewers. But I don't think it's offensive yet either. I did find in Miami once when I was just sitting down there being very chill and relaxed talking to the camera that I let a few too many swear words slip into my dialogue, and it took the emphasis away, and it was a little bit too much repeat. So yes, swearing too much I think can be offensive, and there are certain words I try to steer away from, religious curse words, but I also really enjoy those in private, so it's tricky. What I do in private does slip into what I do for the public, or at least it'll slip into the video that I shoot, and I have to delete whatever I think is going to be too offensive. And I like it when other people swear, because I know there's maybe a streak of radical honesty and a lack of self-impression management when I'm dealing with somebody who can let themselves swear. Okay, I think I'm at the end of the Flowcast. I didn't really talk about much of the skating that happened at all, but when it comes to skating, I'm a big fan of show, don't tell. It doesn't really need to be broken down unless I'm doing something astoundingly confusing. Oh, that was a sad little jump. That is my Flowcast. Thanks for hanging out with me in Toronto, Feet, Miami. There will be a full-length Miami video. The amount of footage I'm going through is insane. I hope your new year is off to a flying start. Aim high and stay low. Stay low.